permanent makeup industry has changed, and the things that used to work 2 years ago are no longer working. Perhaps you've been in the industry for 5 or more years, and then you're wondering why this has been the slowest time in your career, right? Regardless of you, like doing everything that you can, maybe posting on Instagram, asking for referrals, maybe you are running some ads, but seems like Facebook ads are not working anymore for permanent makeup. And like you're doing a lot of things, you're spreading too thin, and then you're wondering like if perhaps permanent makeup is no longer where you should be paying attention. Maybe you should add other services. You're wondering a lot of things. And in this video, we're gonna uncover why this is happening and what you can do to actually overcome it and get it more predictable, make it more smoothly, right? Now, this is the exact same system that my clients are using. Some of them were along like 2K, 3K, and then they went all the way to 8K, some of them all the way to 21K or more. But this does take time. It's no magic. There is a strategy behind it. There is time, there is persistence, there is work, but it's definitely possible if we apply the next steps, right? I have a lot of testimonials on my Instagram. If you want, you can go ahead and take a look at them. I always get a lot of messages, and this actually makes my day. So there's some people who's already making some money, some people who just starting over, some people who are moving from place to place. So there are many cases, and it's possible, but like I said, it does require some work. So let's talk about what is the problem, right? Here's what's happening in permanent makeup industry. You're probably between 3K, 5K, probably less, probably more. But this is an average for people who is running ads, posting organically, like doing everything. They still seems like they are not able to pass that 5K. And it's just because some months are great, some months are not, and it's just hard to actually predict what is coming on. You're doing everything, right? You're like on your DMs, always answering all your leads that are coming in. You're creating and posting some content on Instagram, TikTok. Sometimes you get some luck there and you go viral and you get booked out, but then next day it's like nobody's booking anything. You're probably spending $30 or more a day on ads, and then they end up not bringing a lot of clients. Therefore, you say ads are really expensive, and they are, but we're gonna see what we can do to make this work. So this $30 gets you barely any engagement there, and if you invest less than that, you probably get nothing. You're relying on referrals and maybe even using some Groupon, but it takes 50%, right? Something that really shocks me a lot. It sounds like whenever permanent makeup artists come to me, nobody knows these numbers. Even when they already work with some marketing help, when they already pay an agency more than 10K, they still don't know these numbers. When I ask them, what is your cost per lead? What is your booking rate? How much money you're actually making in profit? They're like, go blank. And I don't blame you, but this is a video where you actually start tracking these things. Today, you start tracking. So this is no longer going to be a problem. And basically, it's like how much you're paying, what is the effort you're putting to get one lead, like someone interested in your services. How many of those who are reaching out and interested in your services are actually booking, and how much revenue and profit you are actually making, right? Because you still gotta pay ads, you still gotta pay whoever is helping you out. You still gotta pay your insurance, your rent for the shop, your materials. So you gotta pay yourself a salary, right? So how much of that is actually profit? If you don't want, like, a lot of the times people sort of turn their brain off here. They're like, this is way complicated, like numbers is just not my thing. But it's something that I want you to learn, or if you get anything out of this video, is that knowing these numbers will actually help you scale, will actually make your business more predictable. If we don't know these numbers, perhaps you don't have a business yet. And people come over and sell you whatever. They will tell you like you're gonna make 6 figures if you pay them, and they're gonna scam you basically. If you don't know these numbers, you gotta take control of your business, because nobody cares or nobody has the best interest for your business better than you. All right. So even if it seems like it's a lot, even if it seems like it's complicated, it might be, but just take a step back and think about it, and then let's get back to work, right? You're a smart person. You're a smart woman. You already open your business. You've been in business for a while. You already deal with so many things, right? With all your license, your training, your shop, your rent, your permits. There's just so many things that you already did, and you can overcome this. Okay. So if this seems so complicated and people is taking advantage of you, like I get every single day stories from permanent parties telling me like, oh my God, I paid them 10K and I only got like 3 clients or 5 clients tops. So what do we do then? Should we do nothing about it? So just to look at this from another perspective, if we are to miss 4 new clients every week, right, which is pretty doable, but let's say we don't do nothing, we just say, okay, I'm just going to continue the way I'm doing it right now. By missing 4 new clients every single week, an average price of $500, we are losing $2,000 in revenue for those 4 new clients, which end up being $8K a month, which end up being $16K 2 months, and so on, just by letting go those 4 new clients. But maybe we're letting go 5 new clients, 10 new clients. So the missing opportunity is big. And that's why if you actually want to scale your business, you got to pay attention to these things and to the strategy ultimately. Okay, so a lot of talk. Let's go straight to the framework. What the heck is this framework? What are the step-by-steps if we want to optimize for profit? We finally going to go to the framework. What are step-by-step if we want to get clients as soon as possible without flushing thousands of dollars down the toilet? Okay, so we first have the foundation. After talking to multiple permanent makeup artists, I realized that a lot of them still don't know who is their ideal client. And this might sound like annoying at the beginning, at least it was for me when I started my business. But it's important to understand who is your client. If you're working with more mature skins, you're working more with certain women in certain situations. So it's like a lot of people tell me, oh yeah, all the women. Well, what does she do, right? What does she buy? So all these little things that is your ideal client, because you don't want to just work with anyone. I'm pretty sure you had clients in the past that really make your life harder and you don't want them anymore. Okay. We start with your ideal client. What is your offer? Here it comes down to how much you're actually charging and if we can go up. This depends a lot on the validation of your offer, how much proof you have to actually charge that price. We find out that we can start increasing prices gradually depending on the demand and how booked out we are. Some people will start with 350 all the way to 700, but it's depending on how booked out you are. Because if you don't have any clients, like I get some permanent makeup artists who tell me like, I want to charge $700, for example, but then nobody's booking and they never got bookings. And then when you tell them like, okay, we don't have any proof yet that you are good at what you're doing, it's not like you are not worth it. Your worth in the market is different than your worth as a human being. Okay, so don't relate them. And even if you are the best in your city, but if nobody knows that, it's gonna be harder to command a higher price. Hope that makes sense. Then we come down to your Instagram, because now your Instagram profile is your sales page. Therefore, whenever someone is considering buying or booking an appointment with you, they're always gonna go to your Instagram. So we gotta make sure that this is nice looking. Okay. It goes down to your name, your bio, and your pin post. Your pin post comes back to your story, how you started as a permanent makeup artist, right? What has been your obstacles and what have you done? Fast forward to today, share a little bit of proof, right? Your Google business reviews, and some of the before and afters. We really want to put together a lot of proof so that people see that you are an expert and you know what you're doing, as well as sharing some of the perhaps objections that people might have when they want to book, or sharing a little bit of the process, which a lot of people might feel hesitant because they don't know if it hurts. They don't know how long it's going to last. All these little things, we can uncover them on the pin post, right? Once we have this foundation, then we're ready to go with the first step. The first step will be to attract new clients. A lot of the times, and this happened to me in the very beginning, like I wanted to make some sales and I wanted people to buy, but I just wanted them to magically buy. Like I didn't have anybody on the line yet, and I just wanted to make sales magically. But the thing is, nobody can buy if they don't know you exist. Therefore, we gotta make sure that we're attracting our ideal client. We can do that in many ways. The way we do it is by launching some ads and having some organic content. You don't have to post every single day, but it's nice because they work together. All right. The thing here is we launch 3 different ads, and each ad goes to different stage of your ideal client in the marketing funnel. If you're not familiar with marketing funnel, I'm going to make another video about it, but it's basically how aware and how much trust does your client have about your services and that you are the expert that will help them out. And we want to bring leads, meaning people who is interested in your services for $3 or less. I've seen permanent makeup artists bring in a lot of leads, but then they are attracting them with a lot of discounts or model call, which is not bad if you're just starting over. But then you're also attracting people who will always want to get a bargain, or they will be a little bit more difficult. And we always want to be away from them. So I don't recommend to attract people just by a huge discount. They're usually going to be people who want a deal but they're not necessarily out qualified or the best people you want to work with or the best. Okay. So once we start attracting leads every single day for $3 or less that are qualified, like people who actually is interested in your services, not in a discount, then we go to the step 2, right? Which is nurture. This basically means they already know you exist. Now they need to trust you and like you so that they can go ahead and book an appointment, right? And we can nurture people by posting on Instagram, reaching out in many ways, by having some DMs with them. The problem that I found is whenever you start getting a lot of leads, it's hard to follow with them because you are taking care of your clients or you're working, but then like you have multiple things to do during the day, and then following manually can be stressful. So I installed an AI bot that does all the handling, qualification 24/7 basically. And this is leveraging AI to help you automate your business. This increased engagement because you're following back to your leads right away as soon as they reach to you. This is definitely something that helps permanent makeup to keep up with the amount of leads that are coming in without missing anyone, basically. And this usually saves 20 hours or more a week, depending on the amount of leads that you're coming in. Because imagine this, you're bringing at least 7 to 10 new leads every day, and you're following at least 10 messages back and forth. So it becomes a lot of work following. So we nurture on the step 2, we do it with AI. You can do it manually, but we do it with AI. Now the step 3 is actually booking them, right? Whenever they say, yeah, I want to move forward, give me an appointment. When can I come for an appointment? When is your next availability? Whatever. They already show your intent that they want to book an appointment. And here's where we can collect the booking deposit. A lot of the times, permanent makeup artists will request a Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. But the thing here is that people probably will not trust, especially if you're new or you don't have a lot of proof. They will think you might be a scammer. Let's think from their perspective. There's a lot of scammers, so you might don't look that trustworthy. Therefore, asking people to have a booking deposit this way might make them a little bit concerned. And I see this time and time whenever it gets to the point like collecting the booking deposit, they're like, can I come over and see the space and then I pay you there? So what we want to do is actually have a booking link or a landing page. This way it looks more legit. I do help my clients with that. You can also offer payment plans so that it's more manageable. Some people will ask for it actually, and that will secure more bookings. It makes it more manageable depending on your price, but it will be from 100 to 200 every month. There's multiple platforms that you can use in order to do this. I help my clients as well to collect install payments if they want, or just collect the booking deposit if they want to do it this way. You look more legit in front of your clients. And we always start tracking what is your cost per lead, what is your booking rate, and how much revenue you're getting, how much profit we're getting, so that it makes sense for the next stage, which is, pay attention, is scaling your business, right? We're already getting leads every day. We're nurturing them on the direct messages. We're already collecting deposit. Now we're ready to actually scale the business. How do we scale the business? Here, I like to do it like once you already start getting cash flow, because sometimes people will be like, oh, I need to do my website. I need to do this. I need to do this automation. And then there are so many tasks. There's no priority. And it becomes way too expensive in time and money because you want to apply everything. But the thing is, it makes sense to do it once you already have some cash flow. So then you can have more oxygen for your business, right? Here's where you can actually start upselling to other services, right? Like for the touch up, you can offer certain things for people to get lip blush or get their eyeliner or whatever other service you have. Retargeting with paid ads, right? Website optimization. Website it's important for your business, but it's not the most important thing that you can do when you don't have any clients. You can actually start some automations for referral requests, review requests automated, all right? This will increase your social proof and the credibility that people has, and you can leverage a lot of automations. I do this for my clients, which basically we go step by step, right? From all the things that are important, there are some that are more important at a certain point. What is your most immediate constraint? And then we tackle that down, and then we go to the next steps. Then we start getting cash flow, and that's how we actually be able to scale, following your metrics or how much money I'm actually making and how many leads do I need to reach this certain goal. Now you might say, okay, all of these make sense. All of this sounds good. How much money can I actually make, or how many bookings can I actually get following this system, right? Let's take a look at some numbers. So here are some numbers as an example, okay? I cannot tell you you're going to make these exact same numbers. This is an average, and your numbers may be way better. Your numbers may be worse, but this is just to have an idea, an average, what you can actually get. With $500 in ad spend, divided by 3, because that's how much each lead costs, it actually costs less, but we always want to consider 3 just to be more conservative and have lower expectations. So this will bring us around 166 leads, right? Or conversations, people reaching out, hey, I'm interested in your services, and then start a conversation. From these 166 leads, a booking rate of 10% will bring us 16 bookings. Now, the booking rate goes from 5% all the way to 20%. And this depends on a lot of things, all the way from your price, the month, your social proof, or the credibility that you have, and among other factors, right? But an average 10% booking rate, that's pretty doable. In some months, we get up to 20%. In some months, it's less than that. For example, June, July are lower. Therefore, you can expect 5%. Okay. So we bring 16 bookings, multiply by 500, because that's an average price point. We're talking about $8,000 in revenue. So you spend $500 in ad spend. Okay. And you made 8,000 in revenue from that ad spend. This is the numbers. This is how we can map out, okay, this is how much I can actually make if I spend this money. And it's important to track these numbers, because then you know, okay, if I want to get more bookings, then I can put more money into ads. But if some of those metrics are not right, for example, if my cost per lead is going to the roof, then perhaps I need to work on lower that cost per lead before I put more money in ads, because otherwise I might spend $1,000 and still not get enough leads or conversation to reach my goals. And here we have an example. We can divide it by what is your income goal, what is your bookings goal. This usually works mostly for people who have a lot of availability, that works only on the weekends, or has other makeup artists who works with them, so they actually need them to be booked out. And also by ad spend. So people who say, like, I only have $1,000 that I can spend on ads. If we spend more money, then we can get more leads, therefore we can have more bookings, therefore we can have more revenue. That's how we go step by step. If we want to get it, like my income goal, let's say everybody for whatever reason says, I want 10,000. Why? Sometimes they don't know, sometimes they do know. But let's say we want 10,000, like $500. It's an average for price per service. Cost per lead, let's keep it at $3. And then the booking rate, depending on what is your booking rate, I don't know what it is, but 10% is an average. So this means that you will need 20 bookings, means that you're going to need 200 leads to hit that 20 bookings. Your ad spend is going to be minimum $600 to hit that 10K. And your estimated profit will be 9,400, because you got to rest while you're spending on ads, right? And then what we do is each month we are tracking what are our numbers, so we actually know how much money we're actually making. But this is why it's important to know your numbers and have a benchmark so that you can optimize. And once you know, wait, I'm paying too much per lead, then let's work on that. Or your leads are good, but perhaps your conversion rate is 1%. Then let's work on your conversion rate. Perhaps your leads are not as qualified. Or if your booking rate is good, your cost per lead is good, but then they are not showing up. All right. I hope this video gives you an idea of what you can do to actually reach your goals, and why you are not able to reach them. If we don't have these numbers, then we don't know which problem or which immediate constraints we have. Therefore, we cannot know. We are doing so many activities and we're spreading too thin. We don't have a benchmark. We don't have a next step. We're just like, I need to do everything, but we don't have this clarity into what is the next step. If you've been already running ads, you've been already doing everything, you're actually spending a lot of money. I had some people reaching out telling me, like, I already spent $2,000 the last month and I literally got nothing. So it's always important to have these numbers, have this in mind. If you are ready to grow your business and you're tired of not being able to scale despite you putting all your efforts in ads, organic content, reaching out, asking for referrals, perhaps bring up your website, getting more trainings, because people tell you, oh yeah, your work will speak for you. And then we find out that it's not the case. If you are ready to scale, if you're ready burn out and you already know this makes sense and you think that this might be what will be able to help you out, I will put a link down this video where you can actually schedule a call. You can also reach out to me on Instagram. Putting all of this together does take time and work. So Some of the things that I put here might gonna change in the future, but we always testing new ways to make it work, because all the time the industry is changing. Some things that might work in the past are no longer the case. There are new releases now with Facebook Andromeda. We also gotta make sure that we are adapting how we're launching our creative so that it makes sense. So if you're done with wasting time and money and you're actually ready to scale, and you've been in business for a while, you're not new to this, right? You already know how this works. You just need some help. Reach out to me. Let's talk about your business. Let's talk about what you want to achieve, and let's get to work. All right. I hope this helped you out. And if you feel like you're not ready yet, or you still don't understand, you can feel free to reach out and ask some questions, or take a look at my other videos. I try to post every single week to help as many permanent makeup artists as possible. So I hope this helps you. All right. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.